Yo, what's good, YouTube? It's boardzy, and this is going to be another $500 mousepad review. In fact, this one is even more expensive, not to be confused with the previous version of the Ninja Ratmat, the 2, which I got a month ago. This is called the PYO, which apparently means soldier in Japanese, and this is the first ever English coverage of this mousepad. And yeah, if you aren't caught up to speed on Ninja Ratmat, they're a metal mousepad company made entirely in Japan. Basically, a guy owns a metal factory, and as a side project, he decided to over-engineer, make some niche metal mouse pads a while ago. These aren't like recently updated surfaces, and the PYO is very interesting compared to the 2. You can see that both of them are like reflective looking surfaces, but the PYO has a much more like stainless steel kind of look to it. In terms of the speed, the PYO is definitely just, it's a lighter feeling glide, both lower initial friction and dynamic friction, but I would say dynamically, just in general, this is a medium speed, like hard surface. It's definitely not among the fastest I've tried, and there are consistency issues, which I will get into, which I don't think are anywhere near as prominent with the 2, and there is over a 20,000 yen difference with these pads. Not that people are really buying them, but my last video did, I think, inspire Ninja Ratmat to make a tweet about international interest, and they said they would pretty much only sell the 2 internationally, presumably due to the issues I'm going to get into. So yeah, unfortunately, this pad has a few flaws. One of them is fingerprints and just oil from your hands staining the mouse pad. This is easily the worst I've ever had on any pad. I'll throw up a picture after like a 2 or 3 hour session yesterday where I cleaned the pad with a microfiber beforehand. You can just see that there are fingerprints everywhere where I actually move the mouse, and this influences how the pad is going to feel. It's going to feel much more textured and sticky in those areas compared to something like this right side, which is just entirely smooth. I know some people are going to be like, use a sleeve, and I actually did. The entire time I played with this pad, I was using the Pulsar arm sleeve, which is why you don't see like marks from my forearm. You only see like my fingertips, and this was enough to just really ruin the consistency, the feeling of the pad, and also I think leads to the second issue, which is sensor performance. They themselves say in like the description that the PYO surface is not compatible with some sensors, and the thing is, like, it is until it isn't. Like with all the sensors I tested, 3950, 3395, Logitech sensor, Razer's latest tech, all of them eventually ran into some issues, which is really unfortunate because this pad does have the capacity, like when it's clean, like the first hour of a session, let's say, it actually does have some interesting properties. One of them, they mention a wavy surface that kind of creates circle patterns. At some angles you can see it, I'll throw a picture up, but what this really does is it provides texture, kind of that grazing sensation that you get on a hybrid pad like the Artisan Hien, Hayate Otsu, but the Vaxi PC. I don't know how many of you guys have that, but you'll actually get that, and that's something I've never felt on a hard pad, but that's just, it gets ruined by the fact that eventually my fingertips are going to create like a texture of their own, which just really fucks the pad over. It is obviously the same 400 by 300 millimeter size as the 2, but this is actually 3 millimeters thick, so it is a little bit thinner. That also does make it a bit harder to pick up. If you guys watched my first video, you'll remember that I had issues with the pad like actually staying stuck on my desk, but this time the guy I bought it from did include the little thin rubber sheet, so it has been pretty much perfect on my desk. Yeah, I just quickly want to talk about the dimensions because it is a little bit thinner than the 2, and just in general, like the aesthetics, the geometry on the pad is different. I love the shuriken cutout in the bottom right. Does that make up for some of the performance issues I have? No, but I'm obviously sick in the head enough to justify spending $500 on a mousepad. But getting back into the surface, I mentioned that like grazing texture you're going to feel on your mouse skates, and that's definitely more noticeable if you're somebody who applies a lot of pressure. So if you do put a ton of pressure on a hard surface, this is going to slow down like more significantly than most others. The 2 also does have a similar sensation. I would say the 2 is just a safer buy. And yeah, I obviously have been touching it a lot during this review, but you can just see what I'm talking about with the surface. It's just something that's kind of impossible to recommend. And the 2 also doesn't have anywhere near the same level of sensor incompatibilities. Like it doesn't feel too good with my GPX. That could be a skate thing, it could be a lot of things, but I'm willing to accept that. And a passive unsurpassable experience with every other modern mouse and sensor. So unfortunately, you guys know me, I wish I could be like, I have the best mouse pad in the world and you can't buy it and it costs $1 million, but it's just not the case. I still am a buyer of Ninja Ratmat's other mouse pads. I gotta get the last two and finish off the Ninja Ratmat series. But that's gonna be all for this video. If you guys have any other questions, let me know and I'll be sure to answer them. But I don't want to go too crazy in depth on these because once again, they're not really like a mass market product for sale. But yeah, that's gonna be all. Like and sub if you enjoy. Peace out.